I'm going to try to win a race without pressing the gas even once, but driving backwards in Mario Kart is slow, painfully slow. So why would I want to do that for an entire race? Well, the CPUs are getting too easy for me to beat, and I don't have any friends to play with. So I'm putting myself up to the ultimate challenge, to get first place while only driving in reverse, but I don't even know if it's possible. And in order to find out, I'm going to need the perfect track, the perfect kart combo, and a miracle, because everything in this game seems to be working against me. And the worst part, this guy. Lakitu won't let me go 5 seconds looking the wrong way, so I have no idea how in the world I'm going to get past him. But that's a later problem. Before I can even worry about that, I have to figure out one thing. Do the character stats actually matter when you're driving backwards? Because if they do, I need to optimize my combo by seeing what works the best. So I ran a test. I found the fastest character combo possible and the slowest character combo possible, and I put them head to head in a backwards race. And you won't believe what happened. It made no difference. So yeah, looks like I can pick whoever I want. I also tested whether or not coins made me drive any faster, and they don't affect anything either. So next, I have to pick a track. I need a course with no unskippable boost pads or glider ramps because they will just shoot me in the exact wrong direction, making them basically impossible to get past. The course also needs a lot of item boxes, because even though I'm not allowed to drive forwards, I can use items that will boost me forwards as long as I don't press the A button. I think items are going to play a big part in this challenge. Big off-road shortcuts might also be a good thing because the CPUs don't tend to do them, and if I end up with a speed item, it could win me the race. With that being said, the first course I want to attempt is Toad Circuit. There's an item set right at the beginning. There are a couple of boost pads, but I can easily avoid them. And right at the end is a big off-road shortcut that I might be able to take advantage of. My first attempt started off how I expected. The fun police kept getting in my way. I tried swerving far enough to where he would think I'm going the right way, but this was so slow that I had to think of something else. So as long as I can make it to the item box, I think I can catch up to the pack and try to keep chaining items to stay in the race. However, there was just one problem. Why am I getting a banana in 12th place? I don't have anything to back this up, but I really think Lakitu is to blame. My guess is that since Lakitu's on my screen telling me I'm going the wrong way, the game won't let me get a good item because it thinks I'm trying to go backwards to get better items. My first thought was to just go through the items and then reverse into them while looking forwards. However, this doesn't work either because if you pass through the same item set twice in a row, the game gives you a bad item once again because it thinks you're trying to take advantage of being in the back by getting good items. I could go and change the settings to custom items so that I could only get good items, but that kind of seems cheap and I don't want to take the easy way out. I want to deserve this victory, even though Lakitu is doing everything in his power to stop me. So I kept on brainstorming, and then I had the perfect idea. Mario Circuit has an item box and a boost pad right behind the finish line. So what if I just reverse into this item box at the beginning of the race to get me started, and then keep chaining items to victory? The only problem here is this boost pad and this glider ramp, which breaks 2 of my earlier rules. I need to have a really good item at both of these points each lap, or else I won't be able to move on from these parts of the race. My first attempt actually didn't go too badly. I started off with 4 mushrooms, which got me past the first boost pad. However, I used my last mushroom too early because I got the item box in 4th place, and I only got a banana from it. I should have waited to get a better item so that I could make it around this large U-turn. Just for fun, I tried to get past the U-turn with no items, and surprisingly, Lakitu actually gave me a hand for once. I ended this race here though because there is no item set for a very long time, and I was not making up this huge gap. I kept on trying, but I just was not having any luck. For some reason that I just can't figure out, the game is still giving me terrible items, but only sometimes. One race I'll have mushrooms, and the next I'll get nothing but a green shell. On this attempt, I learned my lesson and waited to use the last mushroom, and it paid off with 3 more mushrooms, which was just enough to finally get past the U-turn section. But then, there's no item box for such a long time, so I just quit this run. But I'm not giving up that easily. I have an idea. I don't know if it's a good idea, but okay, hear me out. There's an item set pretty close behind the starting line, and all of the item boxes move, so even if I'm standing still, I'll eventually get an item. My first attempt didn't start out very good. I missed the second item box that I wanted and took forever chasing one, and of course, it was all for a banana. And my item luck wasn't any better at the next set. I kept trying, and I actually did eventually get a mushroom, but it just wasn't enough, so I quit this run. But after a few tries, I was starting to see hope. I wanted to quit this race multiple times, but I kept going because even if it's not a win, I wanted to at least finish a race. All of the CPUs were already finished, and I thought I wasn't going to make it. But then, I pulled the bullet bill and chained it into a golden mushroom, which barely got me to this item set, where I pulled triple mushrooms, and then you'll never guess what happened next. I actually passed the CPU. It's not first, but I got 11th place. Take that, Daisy. I kept trying, and honestly, I was getting really frustrated, because it felt like I was capable of winning, but I could just never get all the right items. Or I'd have my item taken from me. I was starting to feel hopeless, like this was impossible. The best I've done was 11th place, and that was hours ago. But right when I felt like giving up for the night, I did this. For a short time, I actually got into first place. I made my move a little bit too early though, because I still had 2 laps to go. Even though I finished in 12th place, this race gave me a lot of hope, and if I can mimic what I did here, a little bit later, I'll have myself a first place. After what has felt like hundreds of attempts, I've figured out a pretty solid plan. I start out the race by driving backwards towards this item set. If I'm lucky, it'll be a mushroom and triple mushrooms. Then I use these to get to the first item set, all while being slow enough to stay in last place. I basically just hope not to get a star or a boo. And of course that Lakitu doesn't rig the box to give me garbage in 12th place. While I'm doing all of this, I have to keep an eye on first place using the mini-map, because the main goal is to try getting a bullet bill with a golden mushroom in my pocket. Then I have to wait to use that bullet bill until just a little bit before first place starts lap 7, so that it doesn't shoot me into a good spot too early, leaving me with no good items. If I can pull all of this off, and maybe even get lucky with a perfectly timed shock dodge at the end of the race, I might be able to golden mushroom straight into the finish line. In fact, after many more awful attempts, I had a race that seemed like everything was going according to plan. I started off the 5th lap with a golden mushroom in 12th place, and spammed the bullet bill as soon as I could, which was about when Toad started lap 7. The next item set was another golden mushroom, so everything was going perfectly, and I was making up plenty of spots. I accidentally missed this item set, which could have been really good, but luckily I still got triple mushrooms, and the gap between me and Toad was shortening. I took the last corner as quickly as I could, but without being able to drift, I just couldn't take it sharp enough and barely got 2nd place to Toad. As much as I wanted to win this race, I'm still super happy with 2nd place. I was starting to lose hope in this challenge, but now I know that it's possible. With that being said, I went straight back to my normal terrible luck. I'm getting really frustrated with this challenge. I was not expecting this to be incredibly hard, but so far, I've spent 9 hours on this. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and there's an easier way to do it. I don't know how I didn't think of this earlier. Cheeseland. This track is known for bagging, which is basically what I'm doing, so I tried it out. I got to the first item set, and yeah, never mind. So I guess we should just keep pushing with the old strategy, especially since I've already gotten to 2nd place, and in fact, this race right after Cheeseland was going really well. I started off lap 6, golden mushrooming with a bullet bill in my pocket. The bullet bill got me a bit into the last lap in 3rd place with triple mushrooms. I got to the last straightaway in 1st place with 1 mushroom, and I used it, but it barely dropped me too short, so I had to reverse into the finish line, getting 5th place. If I was just a tiny bit closer, this would have been it, but I'm still really happy with this race. After many more attempts, I was getting exhausted, but I figured a few things out that were getting me way more consistent results. First, I found out that even though I can't drift, hopping is really helpful for when I'm taking really tight turns with speed items, especially the golden mushroom. I also noticed that if I don't stand still at all, I'm much less likely to get terrible items. Sometimes I'll still get gypped, but this really cut down the amount of green shells and bananas I was getting in 12th place. While I was practicing my new techniques, I had my best race yet. I started off with triple mushrooms and a boo. I waited to use the boo until all of the people in the back had items, so that I would have a chance to get one of their items instead of someone from the front. I got triple mushrooms from the box, and luckily, boo at least gave me a single mushroom, so I was able to stay moving. I chained all of my mushrooms here, which got me more triple mushrooms and a star. I'm reversing into this wall because, like I mentioned earlier, I need to keep moving or else the game is more likely to give me bad items. I reversed past the item set here because I needed to chain both of my items. This is because the star doesn't give me a speed boost, so I needed to have 2 chances at speed boost. I ended up getting a golden mushroom and a bullet bill, which are the 2 best items by far, but it's still really early in the race. I just used these early and they actually got me to first place with triple mushrooms. In a normal race, this would be awesome, but for the challenge, I needed to stall so that I could get back into a bad spot in order to pull good items. Once I was back in last place, I got to work chaining items. And I actually got another bullet bill. It's still not the end of the race, so I can't make my move for the front yet. I was getting really good items this entire race, but at the end of lap 5, it seemed like my luck had run out. I only got 1 mushroom and a blue shell, which was not getting me to the next item set. I was about to just quit this race, but I was too far in, so I decided to try and drive backwards to the next set, and somehow, I pulled the bullet bill again. I knew I had to use it because first place just lapped me with a mushroom in his hand. I had so much ground to make up, but I was just hoping to not get last place this race. The bullet bill hit an item set, and I actually got a golden mushroom, which is the only thing that could even give me a chance. So I started spamming it as fast as I could. I used the new hop method to perfection, and I had a line drive for the finish. I just had to pass 3 racers. But then, the worst thing that could have happened. Pauline just so happens to pull out the super horn at the worst possible time. I really thought I was about to win. Lemmy was inches from the finish line, but I still did my best to get my golden mushroom out in time. And then, I did it. This was the biggest pop-off of my life. After 11 hours of trying, I won a race without driving forwards. And the best part is, Lakitu was one of the victims. He was right behind me and Lemmy in our photo finish. Take that, Lakitu. If you enjoyed watching me suffer, subscribe so that I can afford the Switch too, and I'll try this same challenge in Mario Kart World. Thank you so much for watching.